Hey, what's going on, everyone? Tim here at Millennial Investments. I wanted to start trying something new here, basically recapping the day and going over our top 10 performers based on market cap. So we can see where our sectors are performing and how one sector may be performing better than another. But before we get started, if you're new here, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel to show your support if you find any of this information beneficial at all. And also hit that notification bell to receive future notifications regarding daily trade alerts such as this one. To get started, we're going to be looking at PETZ. It currently broke out to at its peak, I'll say, 458, but currently still up at 419, sitting around 34%. One thing I want to identify is moving forward is we're looking for key levels of support around this 376 level, and I would highly consider this as a buy zone if we find that support above that 376 continuing moving forward. As you can see, we found recent resistance there around December 1st. So if the stock can find support at those levels, we can expect this to continue moving forward and retesting that 458 for a potential breakout. We want to highlight this zone as a green buy zone, and then focus on some more resistance levels moving forward to pay attention to. So basically 1008 is our high level of resistance that we want to pay attention to. I know the stock has broke out even higher, but we don't want to give too high of hopes on stock performance. One that we are wanting to identify is somewhere near the 755 level if we're able to start trading above the 458. So something to look forward to. Make sure we stay above the 376. And if you're buying into this moving forward, this is a great buy opportunity. And if you do, make sure you find support above the 458. And if you do, you can continue to let the stock run. Our next one's going to be ASLN, Aslan Pharmaceuticals. It broke out to 540 in today's trading session. As you can see, we're going to identify that level of resistance we ran into as the stock is showing momentum to the upside. And what I want to do is back out a little bit with this one to kind of identify our next levels of resistance and what to expect moving forward. I'm going to use the 683 as a new level, a more realistic level. And that's what we're looking for, is breaking above the 543 and continuing on to the 683. You're looking at a potential 20 to 30% swing on that trade, even more if you were to get into the trade right now. But before we even consider buying into this, breaking out the way it is, we need to first identify our levels of support, which sit around the 281. So be careful with this, buying at these levels as we're trading in between this range, and currently working to break through this minor level of resistance around the 480s. So we need to actually make it above there before we can confirm we'll retest the 543, excuse me, and then continue moving forward to that 683 price level. Next one we want to look at is KOSS. I know a lot of people are hyped about this stock. This is one of the stocks that was part of the short squeeze movement. And I'm going to go ahead and come in here and identify some key levels to pay attention to if you are in this stock. That's around the 1187 price range. Of course, you can see it broke out yesterday and into today. We saw a lot of stocks break out around the after hour session right before market close. And we're still trying to justify what happened there. But if you're looking at getting into the trade, another level that sticks out to me just off the top is that 1752. And if it breaks below that, then we can find potential buy zones between the 1187 and the 1752. So watch this going into after hours, see how it ends at the end of the day. I'm expecting to pull back pretty strong below those 752s just based off the momentum it currently has. A lot of people would say otherwise because they're so hyped about this stock, but let's watch how it reacts to that 752. It did play as resistance here on the breakout from Friday. Let's see if we find support above that. That would be a great buy entry. And to allow the stock to move up, but we would have to get past this 2191 level, before we can confirm anything to the upside near the $35 price range, or even between the $32 to $35 price range. Next stock we want to look at is SCKT, Socket Mobile. We've actually been covering this in our coffee and stock sessions, which are more than happy to invite you to join us. We look at stocks pre-market, after market open, and typically do what I'm doing now is a market recap on some of these top performers. SCKT actually hit 16% today, but was actually higher than that and bounced to the Let's see what our peak was, around the 1851. And you can see where that correlates back here as a level of resistance before it found rejection and continued to the downside. And then once again found that same rejection and actually landed near the same levels of support. We look at this as a buy zone opportunity right here around the 11.57 to the $10 price range on the bottom side. We need to get above that 11.93. That needs to be confirmed as support moving forward. Let me turn that green for us. So if you look back at this, you can kind of get an idea of what we're looking at. Watch this going into market open tomorrow. See if we don't get rejections to the 11.93 and bring it back to the downside for a $10 entry. But performed very well. And we expect it to continue to do so. We're not saying that it's necessarily going to go back to $35. We don't like to hype up people too much. We like to trade realistically based on what the chart's showing us. All right. Next stock we're going to look at is VXX, Barclays Bank, S&P 500 VIX short-term future. And it bounced up today due to a large pullback in the S&P 500. And that's expected, but if you see a reversal in the SPY, then you can expect this to come down. I'm not sure how many people really are in this trade, and this is basically focused on volatility. I want to see if this stays above the 1660 though. That is a price level I am paying attention to moving forward. So I want to list that as green as basically a potential level of support we need to stay above. And you can see how that correlates with it before, before we got to these lower levels. This was typically where this S&P was rebounding from that reversal we saw on Tuesday. But let's see if the VIX here, short-term future, continues to stay above the 680 as investor sentiment gets concerned about the market pullbacks that everybody has been talking about and alluding to. Something to keep an eye on, though. Next stock we have is ABEO. It broke out. It's currently sitting at 13%. At its peak, it was at 284, and we've actually been covering this stock for some time now. If you pay attention to it, you can see we're sticking along this long-term trend and finding support there. I'll scoot out a little bit more to show you this compression zone to see if it potentially breaks out again. Great opportunity to buy into it pre-market, but let's see how it opens. After hours, but let's see how it opens in pre-market before we make that decision moving forward. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and color coordinate this appropriately so that I typically use blue for my lower line of support and red as my top line resistance. This is my midline, I would call it, of resistance that we want to pay attention to. And I'll actually refer back to other price points that we've ran into and found resistance to identify our top line that we're shooting for here. If it shoots up to the 356, then we can see some strong returns off of that, somewhere near almost 50% on the trade, if I'm correct, off the top of my head. Of course, I'm not doing any math right now. I'm just giving you a quick overview. Next one we're going to look at is PHCF. Currently broke out sometime, I want to say last week, I believe. Yeah, around Thursday. Broke out to the $10 price level. Since then has retraced very hard and currently trading around the 495 price levels. I want to identify some levels of resistance that stand out to me that stock really needs to find support above to say that we're going to reach higher price levels, just to be realistic about it. That's the 744 right here. As you can see, we've broke out above it, but we found a lot of rejections here, bringing the price back down. Now your support levels lie somewhere near around, I would say, if you look at it from this standpoint, I would say here, because it's commonly hit that level before. That's going to be our lower line support level. And then what we'll do is a diagonal trend to understand the trend that it's trading on now. So that would be somewhere near right here. And it's all about where the stock contacts these lines the most is how I do my trend line. So that'll be our green line to pay attention to moving forward. If you have a position in the stock, make sure that we continue riding this trend up to this compression zone around the 744 to eventually bounce above it and find support. We'll make sure we get 3 confirmations at least on an hour that we're going to stay above that. That's strong bullish signals that will continue moving forward to the upside. Next one is FARM or FARM. It currently is sitting at 799, which is its peak in intraday, of course. But you see how that plays a key role, even if we were to pull that resistance level down here, just a little bit. You can kind of see how it correlates and hits that 8 August 25th price level and that rejection on June 24th back in 2020. The stock needs to find support above these levels in order to continue its trend to the upside, and give it the momentum continuing higher. To do our low level of support, I want to identify this one just because of the fact that it's contacted it a few times, found rejection, but also then found the support to bounce to the upside. We're actually going to turn that blue. I'm sorry. This is going to be our midline. Of course, this heavy breakout to 1150 will actually not even going to use the 1150 here. I'm going to focus on this right there, 1157. And reason why is because we've found support on it before. It's played strong support before, and then it eventually became resistance. So we need to get above that 787 level, find support, move upwards above that 1157 to make that a new support level. And this can continue moving higher most definitely. Next stock on play we're going to look at is RCKY. Once again, broke out to 41.51 in today's trading session. I would like to look at the news. I'm not looking at any of the news. I'm just doing technical analysis on the charts right now, and kind of giving you some key levels to pay attention to on the stocks. So definitely I can see this retracing back to this area around the $33, $34 price level before bouncing back up to the upside, and continuing moving above those 41.51 levels. What I want to do is see how that price level correlates with the rest of the stock. If it's ever traded here before is what I'm looking for, and it looks like it's tried. I do want to bring in this level right here, because it's played a very, if it'll let me, it snap into the grid, but let's see right there, around the 36.45. If we can, if it does retrace a little bit and we find support around the 36.45, we will retest those $41 price levels. And it's all about how the stock has reacted to these price levels before. I mean, it could break out to the 41 and bounce all the way back down, as you see here. And then we can go in and kind of identify old levels of resistance that it's ran into, that could potentially become new levels of support, and how that correlates with the rest of the chart, just like this one here around the $23 level. Not saying it's coming down that far, but I'm just basing it off of how it was once rejected by these levels of resistance. Need to turn that green so we can refer to it back, later. And that needs to be our red line. That's our top line. And the last one we're going to look at in this trade review is RVPH. It is currently up 10% at its current price point. It looks pretty new to the market as of it came out in December of 2020, so fairly new stock. I'm not going to do too much technical analysis on this for the simple fact that it doesn't have any historic price levels to base my judgment off of, but 950 is a key level that this stock has had trouble staying above, so we need to make sure that we're able to get above that moving forward and find that strong support. That's any stock that we look at. That's where we're looking for confirmations in the support, confirmations in the rejections from the resistance. Other than that, if you find this video and information beneficial to you in any kind of way, please be sure to show your support by simply liking and sharing the video, as well as clicking the notification bell to subscribe to the channel and receive future trade reviews such as this one. We look to do a market recap every day on our top 10 performers and our micro, small, mid, and large cap stocks, just to give you an idea of the top performers and those market caps. So you can kind of have a play going into tomorrow, somewhat of an idea to pay attention to. And we'll keep adding to this list in order to review how those stocks reacted to our analysis, so you can kind of get an idea of how we're trading here at Millennial Investments. If you have any questions or feedback, please be sure to leave it in the comments below. You can also connect with us directly by Facebook, Twitter, Discord, Stock Twist. We even have an account there if you want to communicate with us directly. Other than that, I appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to review this and look at this with us. Like I said, we plan to release this every day moving forward, so be sure to click that notification bell to know when we do. Otherwise, have a great day. Thank you for watching. Good luck trading, and just be smart. Tim out.